Author's Pav. The corridor was way too long for her small, tired steps. Fluorescent lights were buzzing overhead. The sound of students chatting and lockers banging mixing together into the usual after-lunch chaos. And there she was, moving like a glitch in slow motion through all that noise, hugging her notebooks to her chest like a shield, trying not to look to the left, trying not to look to the right, trying not to look at him. /N. Of course, fate hates her. Because the moment /N decided she would just keep her head down and walk straight to music class, he stepped right out from behind the corner like some stupid scene. In a drama, Jungkook was leaning back against the wall near the stairway, bag hanging from one shoulder, one hand jammed in his pocket like the corridor belonged to him, and the rules didn't. His dark hair fell over his forehead, the small silver hoop in his ear catching the light as he tilted his head, those brown eyes lifted, landing on her like he'd been expecting her all along. And there it was, that lazy half-devil, half-bored smirk. /N Pav. Great, just great. J/K. Oh, look who finally decided to leave her cave. /N. His voice traveled down the hallway easily, a little too casual, a little too loud. A few nearby students looked up, of course, because it was Jeon Jungkook, the school's golden boy, the guy everyone either wanted to be or be with, and her next-door neighbor. #worst combo ever. /N. I'm just going to class. /N. She tried to walk past him. Of course she tried. She wasn't completely dumb. But his arm slid in front of her, palm resting flat on the wall next to her head, trapping her in that stupid K-drama pose she never signed up for. J/K. You're always going to class, nerd. /N. He dragged that last word out, not cruel exactly, but not soft either. There was something stuck around the edges of it. /N Pav. I hate when he says that. It's not like I study 24/7. Okay, maybe 23/7. She swallowed, eyes fixed on the zipper of his hoodie. The air between them smelled faintly like laundry detergent and the mint gum he was always chewing. /N. Move, Jungkook, you're blocking the way. J/K. Say please. /N. He leaned lower, his breath brushing her ear. She flinched, not because she was scared he would hurt her, but because he was him. And because somewhere under all the stupid teasing and eye rolls, there was a memory of two kids sharing juice boxes on the stairs between their apartments. Years ago, she didn't like remembering that. /N Pav. He's just doing this because the others are watching. Because it's fun to poke the boring neighbor girl who used to follow him around like a lost puppy. She bit her tongue, fighting the urge to snap something back that she would regret later in the shared elevator. Before she could say anything, another voice cut through. T/V. Yo, Kook, we're gonna be late for practice. You flexing your ego there or what? /N. Taehyung appeared behind him, hands tucked into the pockets of his checkered jacket, messy hair curling around his forehead. He gave /N a quick glance, unreadable, then looked at Jungkook with an eyebrow raised. Jungkook clicked his tongue, pushing himself off the wall at last. J/K. Relax, Hyung. I was just saying hi to my sweet neighbor. /N. The way he said sweet made /N's ears burn. /N. That's not how normal people say hi. J/K. Good thing I'm not normal. /N. He winked, then moved away, bumping shoulders with Taehyung as they walked off together. A couple of girls giggled as they passed, whispering behind their hands. The hallway went back to its usual noise. /N stood there for a second, trying to restart her brain. /N Pav. Whatever, just ignore him. Like always, she adjusted her glasses, hugging her books tighter and making her way to the music room. Because if there was one place in this whole stupid building where she could breathe properly, it was their author's Pav. The music classroom smelled like old wood, paper, and something faintly metallic from the instruments locked in the cabinets. Sunlight seeped in through tall windows, dust floating lazily in the air. A worn, upright piano sat in the corner, keys a little yellowed. A few notes forever out of tune. Students were settling into their chairs when the door slid open with a soft squeak. Mr. Han, their music teacher, walked in carrying a stack of papers and that mysterious binder he always had for special projects. A/N. Special projects always means trouble. BTW. Mr. Han cleared his throat, tapping the blackboard lightly. Mr. Han. Settle down, everyone. I have an announcement. A/N. The chatter slowly died. Even Y/N set her pencil down, fingers playing with the edge of her notebook. Mr. Han. As you know, the annual Spring Festival is coming up, and as every year our class is responsible for one performance on stage. This time the principal asked for something more personal, so we'll be doing duet stages. Pairs, groans, excited squeals, a few dramatic sighs sounded around the room. Mr. Han. I'll assign partners so we don't spend the whole month arguing about it. A/N. Of course he would. He started reading names off a list. 2 by 2, people turned to each other with mixed expressions, some happy, some horrified. Y/N felt sweat on her palms as the names went down, like a countdown to something she didn't know yet but already dreaded. Mr. Han. Kim Luna and Park Ji-hoon. Kim Minji and Choi Areum. Kim Taehyung and Taehyung, seated a few rows in front of Y/N, suddenly lifted his hand. T/V. Sir, I'm already in charge of the band performance. Can I be solo instead? Got some arrangements to do. Mr. Han paused, considering. Mr. Han. Fine. You'll be doing a solo stage then. That leaves one person without a partner. His gaze scanned the room, finally landing on the back corner. Mr. Han. Jeon Jungkook. A/N. The boy in the hoodie looked up from where he had been lazily spinning his pen. His brows pulled together. J/K. I don't do duets, Mr. Han. You do now. Rules are rules. A/N. There was a murmur of amusement around the class. Jungkook leaned back in his chair, jaw ticking. He opened his mouth like he was about to argue, then closed it again with a small sigh. Mr. Han scanned the remaining list. Mr. Han. And since Taehyung opted out, that leaves Y/N. Everything went quiet for her, like someone pressed mute on the world. Y/N. Pav. He did not just say my name. Nope. I heard wrong. Maybe it's another Y/N. There has to be another Y/N. Mr. Han smiled, too happy for a man about to ruin her remaining piece. Mr. Han. So, Jeon Jungkook and Y/N, you two will be working together. Practice after school is mandatory. The performance counts for 30% of your grade. A/N. 30%. That was like academic blackmail. Jungkook turned slightly in his seat, head tilting. His eyes met hers across the classroom, the same eyes that had watched her flinch in the hallway just minutes ago. He didn't smirk this time. He just looked, surprised. J/K. A/N. He clicked his tongue and looked away first. Y/N. Pav. Great. I'm stuck with him, and I can't even fail on purpose. She lowered her gaze to her notebook, scribbling random lines that looked nothing like music notes and everything like Panic Duet with Jungkook. Her heart was already playing its own rhythm without permission. Time skip. Authors. Pav. The school had already started to empty when Y/N stepped back into the music room after last period. Outside, the sky was dimming into a soft gray, clouds gathering like a big warning sign. The janitor's cart squeaked somewhere down the hallway. Inside, the classroom felt bigger, quieter. The chairs had been stacked, leaving the front space open. On the teacher's desk, Mr. Han had left a folder with neat handwriting on top. Duet assignments. JK and Y/N. A/N. Her stomach twisted just seeing their initials together on paper. Y/N walked closer, fingers hovering over the folder like it might bite. Before she could open it, the door slid behind her with a soft thud. J/K. Wow, you're actually on time. A/N. His voice made her jump. Y/N turned around to see him drop his bag carelessly on a nearby chair, a few music sheets poking out. His hair was a little messy, like he had run his hand through it a few times while walking. The hoodie from earlier was tied around his waist, leaving him in a simple black t-shirt that showed the faint outline of a tattoo on his forearm. Y/N. Pav. Don't look at his arm, don't look at his arm, don't. She looked, obviously. Y/N. The teacher said it's mandatory. J/K. You could have pretended to be sick. Y/N. I'm not like you. A/N. The words came out sharper than she meant. Jungkook's brow quirked, something flashing quickly in his eyes. J/K. What's that supposed to mean? Y/N. Nothing, just forget it. A/N. She opened the folder to distract herself. Inside, there was a printed song suggestion, some blank staff paper, and a note in Mr. Hand's handwriting. Try to arrange it your way. Use both piano and guitar if possible. I trust you too. Y/N Pav. Why does he trust us? We barely trust each other. She scanned the suggested song, humming the melody in her head. It was a soft ballad, simple chords, lyrics about finally letting go of old scars and finding someone who feels like home. Of course it had to be that kind of song. Jungkook walked up beside her, leaning in to read over her shoulder. His cologne pulled at her senses again. J/K. Oh, that's not bad. Y/N. You like it? J/K. Didn't say I like it, just said it's not trash. A/N. Translation. He liked it. He reached for the paper, their fingers brushing for a brief second. She pulled her hand back like she'd been shocked. J/K. Relax, I don't bite. Y/N Pav. You bite your lip a lot though. That's the problem. She turned away, heading toward the piano. Y/N. I can try the piano part. You can do the guitar and vocal, I guess. J/K. You're not just gonna hide behind the piano. Y/N. Excuse me, J/K. It's a duet, he emphasized, walking over to the guitar stand by the wall. That means surprise, two voices, not one main vocal and one background ghost. Y/N. I never said I would be a ghost. J/K. You didn't have to, I know you. A/N. The words slipped out of him too naturally. He seemed to realize it a second later, shoulders tensing. Y/N Pav. He knows me. Her fingers hovered above the piano keys, heart stuttering. They used to sing together on the rooftop of their apartment building when they were younger, back when his mom worked late and her mom would leave a plate of dinner in their fridge with his name scribbled on a sticky note. Just in case, back when everything was simple. That was before middle school, before new friends, new rumors, before he started walking past her in hallways with other people around, acting like their childhood memories were just deleted. Y/N blinked, shaking the ghost away. Y/N. You don't know me anymore. A/N. Her voice was quieter. She pressed the first chord, letting the sound vibrate in the air. It felt like hiding under a blanket. Jungkook tuned the guitar, a soft twang filling the room each time he turned a peg. J/K. Sing the first line. Y/N. No, J/K. Why? Y/N. Because you'll laugh. J/K. Do I look like I'm laughing? A/N. She glanced at him. His mouth was a straight line, eyes focused on the sheet. For once he wasn't teasing, just waiting. Y/N Pav. Fine, just one line. If it sucks, I'll tell Mr. Han I lost my voice and move to the back row forever. She inhaled slowly, fingers pressing the first chord again. The melody rolled out, shaky at first, but then the familiarity of it took over. Her voice slipped into the room, soft, a little breathy but clear. The lyrics about cold nights and unfamiliar streets, about wanting to find a place where you don't feel like a stranger anymore. By the second line, she forgot Jungkook was even there, almost, because halfway through the chorus, another voice joined hers, sliding in like it had always belonged between her notes. His J/K Pav. Her voice, it's still the same. He watched her from the corner of his eye, the way her lashes trembled when she closed her eyes, the way her shoulders relaxed once she stopped overthinking. The piano under her hand sounded warmer than the school's old instrument had any right to. They reached the last line together, voices blending on the word home. The final chord faded. Silence. Y/N opened her eyes slowly, cheeks flushed. Y/N. I told you not to laugh. J/K. Who said I was gonna laugh? A/N. He was staring at her, something unreadable in his gaze. It wasn't the sarcastic look he usually wore. It wasn't the bored one either. It was closer to that look from before, when they were kids, and he watched her perform at the boring apartment talent show with his eyes bright like she hung the stars herself. He caught himself, clearing his throat. J/K. You're not terrible. Y/N. Wow, the highest praise from Jeon Jungkook, J/K, don't let it go to your head, nerd. A/N there. The smirk was back, but it didn't sting as much outside. Thunder rolled in the distance. Mr. Hand's voice echoed faintly from the hallway, telling everyone the rain was expected, so whoever needed to leave early should move fast. They kept practicing anyway. Time skip. Author's POV. The rain came faster than anyone expected. By the time they finished running through the song 3 times, the sky outside had turned almost black. Huge drops hammered against the windows, leaving streaks like tear tracks on the glass. The lights flickered once. Then again. Y/N POV. Please don't cut. Please don't cut. Please. The lights went out. Just like that, the whole room plunged into darkness. Someone shouted in the hallway, followed by the echo of doors slamming and the distant crackle of emergency announcements. For a second, there was nothing but the sound of the rain and her own heartbeat punching against her ribs. Y/N. Jungkook, J/K. Relax, I'm here. A/N. His voice came from somewhere in front of her. She could hear the shuffle of his shoes, the rustle of his t-shirt as he moved. Something brushed her shoulder. She flinched hard. J/K. Whoa, hey, it's just me. A/N. His hand settled lightly on her upper arm, warm and steady. In the dark, everything felt 10 times louder. The storm outside, the blood rushing in her ears, her uneven breathing. Y/N POV. I hate thunderstorms. I hate them, I hate them, I hate them. Her chest tightened like an invisible weight was pressing down on it. Memories flashed her as a kid, hiding under a blanket while the power went out, her dad lighting a candle and joking about ghosts, promising nothing could hurt her while he was there. He wasn't there anymore. The thunder cracked again, closer. Her vision swam even though there was nothing to see. She realized she was shaking. J/K. Y/N. His voice was closer now. She felt his hand slide down to her wrist, fingers curling gently around it. J/K. You good? Y/N. I'm fine. A/N. She wasn't. They both knew it. He exhaled, the sound soft but frustrated. J/K POV. Of all the times for the power to go out, he could barely see the outline of her against the faint gray from the windows, but he could feel her trembling under his fingers, like a small bird trying really hard not to show its fear. He remembered the first time he saw her cry in the dark. They were 11, a summer storm knocking the power out in their building. She'd sat on the stairs between their floors, hugging her knees, pretending her tears were from allergies. He'd sat next to her with a flashlight and shared his earphones until she stopped shaking. And then, years later, he started walking past those same stairs without even glancing. Because he was an idiot. J/K. You're lying. Y/N. WH what? J/K. You only stutter when you're scared or when you're mad at me. Y/N. I am mad at you. J/K. Yeah, I figured. A/N. Lightning flashed, illuminating the room for a split second. It painted both their faces in stark white and shadows, the worry in hers, the guilt in his. He didn't let go of her wrist. J/K. Sit down before you fall and break something. Y/N. Bossy much. J/K. Just sit, nerd. A/N. He guided her gently to the floor beside the piano, letting her slide down with her back against the cool wood. He sat too, close enough that their shoulders brushed in the dark. The contact grounded her more than she wanted to admit. Y/N POV. Why is my heart beating like we're on stage or something? We're literally just sitting on dusty tiles in a blackout. Another boom shook the windows. Her fingers curled into her skirt, nails pressing crescents into her skin. Jungkook's hand left her wrist for a moment. She panicked a little inside. Then something soft and familiar touched her head. J/K. Here, A/N. He had slipped his hoodie off and was now dropping it gently over her hair like a shield. It smelled like him. Warm, a bit of detergent, a hint of mint. The fabric fell over the sides of her face, turning the storm into a muffled background noise. J/K. Don't laugh, but my grandma used to do this when I was a kid. Said it keeps the thunder from stealing your thoughts. Y/N. That's not how science works. J/K. Shut up and let it not work then. A/N. She huffed, but a small laugh escaped anyway. Her breathing slowed, the tight band around her chest loosening a bit. They sat like that for a moment, the only light coming from occasional flashes outside. Silence settled, but it wasn't entirely awkward, just complicated. Y/N. You really waited in the hallway earlier just to make fun of me, J/K. You think I schedule my bullying sessions now, Y/N. You could. You're very organized when it comes to being annoying. A/N. He snorted. J/K. Believe it or not, I was heading to practice. Then you appeared looking like you were walking to your own funeral. Y/N. I wasn't, J/K. You were literally whispering to yourself. Y/N. Pav. He saw that. She scrunched her nose under the hoodie. Y/N. You're very observant for someone who pretends I don't exist half the time. A/N. The words slipped out, dipped in the hurt she'd been swallowing for years. Jungkook went quiet. Too quiet. J/K. Pav. There it is. He leaned his head back against the piano, staring at the ceiling. He couldn't see he'd known this would come up eventually. It had to. You don't go from sharing popsicles on summer afternoons to pretending your neighbor is invisible without leaving a mess behind. J/K. I never pretended you don't exist. Y/N. Could have fooled me. A/N. Her voice wobbled just enough to make him wince. J/K. I saw you. Every time, on the stairs, in the elevator, in class, at the bus stop when your umbrella would flip inside out. I saw everything, okay? Y/N. Then why, A/N. She trailed off, fingers twisting the edge of his hoodie sleeve. J/K. Because I'm stupid. Y/N. That's not a real answer, J/K. It's the only honest one. A/N. Thunder rolled again, softer now, like it was moving away. He exhaled through his nose, forcing the words out before he chickened out. Like always, J/K. When my dad left and I started hanging out with those guys in middle school, everything got loud. They liked the whole I don't care about anything image. And he swallowed. J/K. I liked not caring or pretending I didn't. It was easier than actually feeling stuff. Y/N. Stuff. J/K. Emotions. Whatever. They suck. A/N. She almost smiled. Almost. J/K. And you always made me feel too much. You'd freak out over small things or laugh so hard you'd snort or cry during dumb movies. You were real. Too real. And I didn't know how to deal with that while trying to be this cool, unbothered guy they expected. He could hear her breathing beside him, calm but attentive. J/K. So I started ignoring you. Because if they knew you were important, they'd mess with you. And I couldn't stand the thought of that. Y/N. They messed with me anyway, Jungkook. A/N. The quiet hurt in her voice cut deeper than any yelling. Would he closed his eyes. J/K. I know. He remembered the time he saw one of his so-called friends stick a loser sign on her locker. He'd laughed with them then, that stupid empty laugh that echoed in his ears at night. Later, he'd ripped the sign off when no one was looking, crumpling it until his knuckles turned white. But she never saw that part. J/K. I kept thinking, if I just keep my distance, they'll eventually leave you alone. But that's not how it works, I guess. Y/N. Nope, that's not how it works. A/N. Her words hurt, but there was no venom. Just tired honesty. J/K. I'm sorry. The apology hung in the dark, heavier than the storm. Y/N. Pav. Wow. He said it. He actually said it. She pressed her lips together, feeling the prickle of tears she didn't want to let fall in front of him. Not again. Y/N. You can't just say sorry and expect everything to go back to when we were 8. J/K. I know that too. Y/N. Then why are you telling me this? A/N. The question was small, but it demanded something big. He turned his head, even though he could barely see her. J/K. Because I don't want to keep pretending. Not with you. Not anymore. Her breath hitched. Lightning flashed again, outlining their profiles for a heartbeat. She looked at him then, really looked. His jaw was tight, eyes darker than usual, vulnerability peeking through cracks in his usual armor. She opened her mouth. Before she could answer, the door slid open with a loud bang. T/V. Yeah, I knew you two would get stuck in here. A/N. A beam of light swept through the room, Taehyung's phone flashlight. He stepped in, hair slightly damp from the rain, an umbrella dangling from his wrist. He froze halfway inside, eyes bouncing between Jungkook and Y/N sitting too close on the floor, his hoodie swallowed around her T/V. Am I interrupting something? A/N. Y/N's heart did a weird little drop. Jungkook's hand quietly slipped away from her sleeve, leaving her skin suddenly cold. The storm outside had started to move on. Inside. A different kind of storm was just starting. Authors Pav Taehyung squinted, the flashlight beam landing right on Jungkook's face. J/K. Turn that away, I'm not a raccoon. T/V. You kinda look like one. A/N. Taehyung smirked, but his eyes flickered to Y/N again, taking in the way she clutched the hoodie, the way her cheeks were still flushed. T/V. Mr. Han sent me to check if anyone was still in here. Power's out in the whole old wing, so they're closing it for now. You guys okay? Y/N. Why yeah, we're fine. A/N. Her voice came out a little too quickly. Taehyung tilted his head. T/V. You sure? You look like you just saw a ghost. J/K. She hates thunder. A/N. Jungkook answered without thinking. Taehyung's brows rose slightly at the fact that he knew that T had been their neighbor too, but on a different floor. He knew pieces of their history, but not everything. T/V. Ah, right. He held the flashlight steady, offering a hand to Y/N. T/V. Come on, I'll walk you out. They're saying people should go home early before the roads flood. Y/N hesitated for a second, glancing unconsciously toward Jungkook. He was already on his feet, brushing dust off his jeans. J/K. Take her. I gotta grab my stuff from the locker anyway. A/N. Their eyes met briefly, something left unsaid between them. The half-formed conversation from the dark still hummed in the air. Y/N. Pav. Now. You choose now to go get your stuff. She swallowed whatever she wanted to say and instead took Taehyung's offered hand, letting him pull her up. The hoodie slipped off her head, falling around her shoulders like a cape. T/V. Nice look, he joked lightly. Very raccoon chic. Y/N. Shut up. A/N. But she smiled, a small one. They walked out into the dim hallway, T's flashlight leading the way. Jungkook followed a few steps behind, quiet. The emergency lights cast everything in red hues, making the school look eerily like a scene from a horror movie. At the entrance, teachers were directing students toward the exits, warning them about the slippery stairs. Mr. Han spotted them. Mr. Han. Ah, there you are. Did you get any practice done? T/V. They were singing in the dark, sir. Very romantic if you ask me. Y/N. Taehyung. A/N. Her cheeks flared. Mr. Han laughed. Mr. Han. Whatever works. Just don't catch a cold. Go straight home, you hear me? They nodded. Outside, the rain had softened to a drizzle. The sky was still heavy, droplets shining on the pavement. Taehyung popped open his umbrella, holding it over both himself and Y/N. T/V. I'll walk you to the bus stop. Y/N. You don't have to. Your house is the other way. T/V. My feet work fine, thanks. A/N. She rolled her eyes but couldn't deny the small warmth that came from his casual protectiveness. Behind them, Jungkook stuffed his hands in his pockets, stepping out into the rain without an umbrella. The water dotted his hair, darkening it further. He watched them walk ahead, Taehyung leaning in to say something that made Y/N snort. His chest tightened in a way that had nothing to do with the cold. J/Kpop. This is what you get for waiting so long. Idiot. He kicked a small puddle, silently following at a distance, just until the fork where the bus stop split from the road leading to their building. He told himself it was just in case, just to make sure she got there safely. Not because he couldn't make his feet turn away sooner. Time skipped the next day. Authors Pav. The storm left the school with leaky roofs, a broken vending machine, and a lot of sleepy students. The spring festival posters on the bulletin board had curled edges now, tape struggling to hold them against the damp wall. Y/N slipped her books into her locker, trying not to think about the previous day's blackout, or the way Jungkook's voice sounded when he said, "I'm sorry," in the dark. N. She failed, Obviously Y slash N Pav. He can say sorry all he wants. It doesn't erase years. It doesn't erase all the times I walked past him talking to his friends about some girl he liked while I pretended my heart wasn't doing cartwheels. It doesn't erase the sign on my locker. Or the way he laughed. She shut her locker a little harder than necessary. A familiar figure leaned against the next row of lockers. T/V. Morning, Thunder Buddy. Y/N. Don't call me that. A/N. Taehyung grinned, but his eyes softened. T/V. You okay? You looked off yesterday. Y/N. Just tired. T/V. From singing in the dark with Jungkook. Y/N. Taehyung. A/N. Her warning tone made him hold up his hands in surrender. T/V. Okay, I'll stop teasing. He paused. T/V. But seriously, if he ever makes you uncomfortable, tell me. I'll hit him with my guitar. Y/N. Pretty sure that's a crime. T/V. Pretty sure it'd be worth it. A/N. She laughed despite herself. Taehyung's protectiveness was different from Jungkook's. Less complicated. Less tangled in old history. Before she could reply, voices rose from down the hall. Student A. Bro, you're really transferring. Student B. I heard he might. My cousin said their coach from Busan is scouting. Y/N's ears perked unconsciously. More whispers floated closer, wrapped around one name. Jungkook. She turned just as he walked past the end of the hallway, a couple of guys from the basketball team flanking him, shoving his shoulder playfully. Player 1. If you leave, we're screwed, man. Player 2. Yeah, don't forget us when you become all famous and stuff. J/K. I'm not famous. Chill. A/N. Jungkook's tone was dismissive, but his eyes were tight. He caught Y/N's gaze for a split second as he passed, then looked away quickly like it burned. Y/N Pav. Transferring, her stomach dropped. T/V. Don't look so shocked, Taehyung said quietly beside her. They've been talking about it for a while. Some performing arts school in Busan wants him. Better facilities, more opportunities. Y/N. And he didn't. She bit down on the rest of that sentence. Tell me, why would he? T/V. You two aren't exactly on daily texting terms. A/N. He wasn't wrong. Taehyung nudged her shoulder gently. T/V. Hey, if he leaves, life doesn't stop, you know? You still got me. And music. And Mr. Hand's horrible coffee breath. Y/N. You, T/V. Exactly. He smiled, but there was a hint of something else in his eyes, something like hesitation. Like he wanted to say more, but chose not to before Y/N could dig into that feeling. The bell rang, scattering everyone into their classrooms. The day moved in a blur, classes overlapping with random questions about festival costumes and schedule changes. By the time last period ended, Y/N's brain felt like overcooked ramen. She dragged her feet toward the music room again. Her heart thumped faster. Would Jungkook be there? Or had he decided their duet wasn't worth it if he was leaving anyway? When she slid the door open, the room was empty. Except for him, author's Pav, he sat on top of the teacher's desk, guitar balanced on his lap, fingers idly picking at the strings. His hair fell messily across his forehead, bangs partially hiding his eyes until he flicked them up at the sound of the door. For a second, the air between them froze. Then his mouth twitched. J/K. You're late. Y/N. The bell rang literally 5 minutes ago. J/K. Exactly. That's 5 minutes of my life gone. Y/N. You waste more than that scrolling through memes. A/N. The banter felt almost normal now. Dangerous. She stepped in, closing the door behind her. Y/N. Are we still doing this? The duet, I mean. J/K. Why wouldn't we? Y/N. Because you're leaving. A/N. The words slipped out before she could filter them. Jungkook's fingers faltered on the strings, a harsh twang slicing through the quiet. He looked up, jaw tightening. J/K. You heard. Y/N. It's hard not to when literally everyone talks about it like the school is losing its king. A/N. He snorted softly, but there was no humor in it. J/K. Nothing's decided yet. Y/N. So you're saying there's a chance you'll stay. J/K. I'm saying, he paused, fingers tracing the guitar's edge. J/K. I'm saying I don't know. A/N, that honesty again. Raw and uncomfortable. Y/N Pav. Of course he doesn't know. He never knows when it comes to me either. She walked toward the piano, setting her bag down Y/N. Well, if you do leave, I'm not about to let my grade drop because you can't commit. J/K. Wow, say you'll miss me without saying you'll miss me. Y/N. I didn't. J/K. Your eyes did. Y/N. Shut up and play the intro. A/N. He smirked, shaking his head but obeyed. Fingers slid into the opening chords smoothly, muscle memory taking over. She followed with the piano, the two instruments weaving around each other. They sang. The first time through, she kept her voice careful, controlled. The second time, she let herself lean into it more, feeling the lyrics instead of just reciting them. Jungkook harmonized instinctively, their voices meeting on certain words like magnets. By the third time, something loosened J/Kpop. This is the only place my head goes quiet. He watched her out of the corner of his eye, the way her whole face changed when she got lost in music, lines softening, eyes unfocused on anything but the notes. During the bridge, she messed up a chord, fingers slipping. The sudden wrong note made them both wince. Y/N. He's sorry. J/K. It's fine, try again. Y/N. My brain lagged. J/K. Your brain lags around me a lot. Y/N. That's not, he grinned. J/K. Cute. A/N. Her heart stuttered dangerously. Y/N Pav. He did not just call me cute. No, my ears misheard. They do that sometimes. She avoided his gaze, resetting her fingers. They ran it again, over and over, mistakes shrinking, timing tightening, until finally they reached a version that Mr. Han wouldn't cry over for the wrong reasons. By the time they stopped, the sky outside had turned orange, streaked with pink. The day after the storm was always the prettiest. Y/N wiped a thin layer of sweat from her forehead with the back of her hand. Y/N. We're actually not horrible. J/K. That's the best review I've gotten all week. A/N. They shared a small smile, the kind that had history behind it. The classroom door creaked suddenly. Taehyung stuck his head in T/V. Yo. Lover, I mean duet birds. Y/N. Stop calling us weird things. T/V. But it fits. A/N. He stepped in fully, carrying a small paper bag that smelled faintly like pastries. T/V. I brought snacks. Mr. Han said you guys have to stay late tomorrow too for the stage rehearsal, so you'll need energy. He set the bag on the desk, eyeing them. T/V. You sounded good from the hall. Really good. J/K. Were you spying? T/V. It's called support. Jungkook. A/N. There was an undercurrent between them that Y/N couldn't quite read. Something sharper than their usual playful bickering. Jungkook slid his guitar back into the case. J/K. You don't have to watch us. T/V. Someone's gotta make sure you don't ditch her halfway. J/K. I'm not ditching her. T/V. Like you didn't ditch her in middle school. A/N. The room went stiff. Y/N felt the air thin around her. J/K's jaw clenched, eyes narrowing. J/K. T/V. What? Someone has to say it. He turned to Y/N, expression softer. T/V. Just don't let him decide everything for you, okay? Even if a fancy school shows up with shiny lights and big promises. Y/N. It's fine. T/V. Is it? A/N. Jungkook stood up, the chair legs scraping loudly against the floor. J/K. I said it's between me and her. T/V. Yeah, and you did such a great job handling it last time. A/N. Their eyes locked, old friendship and new tension colliding. Y/N Pav. Okay, wow, I did not sign up for a front row seat to your bro drama. She stepped between them almost on instinct, heart hammering. Y/N. Stop. Both of you. They looked at her. Y/N. We have a performance in 3 days. If you guys want to punch each other, at least wait until after I get my grade. A/N. That snapped some of the pressure. Taehyung chuckled reluctantly. Jungkook exhaled, looking away. T/V. You heard the boss. He picked up the bag, pulling out a small bread roll and tossing it to her. T/V. Eat this at least. Don't faint on stage. Y/N. You're acting like the stage is a war zone. T/V. Have you seen Mr. Han when the mic stops working? It is a war zone. A/N. She laughed. Jungkook watched her. Something conflicted in his gaze. He grabbed his bag. J/K. I gotta go. Coach wants to talk about tomorrow's schedule. He paused near the door, glancing over his shoulder. J/K. Y/N. She looked up. J/K. Don't stay too late. Your mom gets worried. A/N. The mention of her mom made her chest warm. He remembered. She nodded. He left, the door sliding shut behind him. Taehyung watched the empty doorway for a moment before sighing. T/V. Why is he like this? Y/N. Like what? T/V. Complicated. A/N. She didn't have an answer for that. She didn't know that later that night, Jungkook would be sitting on his bed, transfer form half filled on his desk, phone in his hand, staring at her chat window without pressing send. And she would be sitting next door, staring at the same spring festival poster she'd peeled off the school board and wondering what their duet would sound like without him. The stage was already being set. They just didn't know how hard the lights would fall. Spring festival day of. Author's POV. The gym looked nothing like a place for sweaty PE classes anymore. Colorful banners hung from the rafters. Fairy lights zigzagged across the ceiling, and a temporary stage had been built at one end with heavy curtains and stand mics. Students buzzed around, adjusting costumes, checking sound equipment, and taking selfies. The faint smell of popcorn and cheap cologne floated in the air. Backstage was chaos. Mr. Han paced with his clipboard, muttering about sound checks and timing. The student council president yelled something about the order of performances. Y/N stood near the side curtain, hands cold despite the warm air. Her outfit was simple, a white blouse tucked into black jeans, a small necklace resting near her collarbone. Her hair was half-tied, the way her mom liked it for performances. She tried not to stare at the crowd forming in the bleachers. Y/N POV. Why are there so many people? Do we really know this many humans? Taehyung appeared at her side, adjusting the strap of his electric guitar. His outfit looked like he stepped out of a music video. Loose shirt, chains, eyeliner that made his eyes somehow even more intense. T/V. Hey, breathe. Y/N. I am breathing. T/V. Your face says otherwise. A/N. He reached out, poking her cheek lightly. T/V. You'll be fine. If you mess up, just glare at the sound guy. Everyone will blame him. Y/N. I don't like that plan. T/V. Then don't mess up. A/N. She groaned. Mr. Han called out. Mr. Han. Positions everyone. First up, T's band, then dance club, then our duet. His eyes landed on Y/N. Mr. Han. You can do this. He moved on without waiting for a reply. Y/N glanced around. No sight of Jungkook yet. Y/N POV. He's late, of course. Her stomach did a nervous flip. Taehyung nudged her. T/V. He'll come. Y/N. You sound sure. T/V. If he doesn't, I'll play both parts and drag him on stage from the crowd myself. Y/N. That would actually be fun to watch. They shared a small smile. Taehyung's band was called to stage. He squeezed her shoulder. T/V. Watch me and pretend I'm not extremely cool. You'll get more nervous if you accept it. Y/N. You're such an idiot. T/V. You love me. He winked and disappeared through the curtain. A/N. Her heart did a mini skip at the casual "you love me," but she filed it under T being T. He said that to his pet plants too. The crowd cheered as the lights dimmed, then flared up again. Taehyung's guitar riff screamed through the speakers, the band launching into their rock version of an old pop song. The energy was infectious. Students yelled, waved light sticks they'd brought for no reason. Some parents clapped along awkwardly. Y/N watched from the side, tension unwinding a bit as she got lost in the music. Taehyung moved like the stage was his second home, hair whipping, fingers flying over strings. She almost forgot she had to go up next. Almost a shadow appeared at her other side. J/K. Enjoying the show. A/N. She jumped. He was there finally, wearing a simple black button-down, sleeves rolled up, a thin silver chain around his neck. His hair was styled slightly messier than usual, like someone had run their hands through it, and he didn't bother to fix it. He looked annoyingly good Y/N. You're late, J/K. I'm here, aren't I, Y/N. Barely. A/N, he smirked, but it didn't reach his eyes completely. She noticed a folded piece of paper sticking out of his pocket, the corner of a form with the school's logo. Her stomach twisted. Y/N. You decided, J/K. Can we talk about that after we make sure I don't fall off the stage? A/N. He picked up the mic they'd rehearsed with, rolling it between his fingers. J/K. Focus on the song first. I'll focus on you. The words slipped out too natural. Her breath caught. Y/N. D don't say weird things right before we go out there. J/K. Just being honest. A/N. The band finished their song to loud cheers. Taehyung bowed dramatically, flashing a peace sign at the crowd. As he walked off, his and Jungkook's shoulders brushed. They exchanged a quick look. Something passed between them, old arguments, unspoken worries. T flicked his gaze from Jungkook to Y/N and back T/V. Don't screw it up, J/K. You either. A/N. Taehyung clapped Y/N's hand lightly. T/V. Go knock them dead, Y/N. I'd rather not kill the audience, T/V. You know what I mean. He moved aside, giving them space. Mr. Han signaled Mr. Han. Duet team, you're up. Author's POV. The stage lights felt much hotter in person than during rehearsal. Y/N stepped into the brightness, blinking as the crowd turned into a blur of faces and phone screens. The mic in her hand suddenly seemed like a heavy, fragile thing. Jungkook walked beside her, calm, steady. His presence anchored her somehow. They took their places. She near the keyboard at center, he slightly to her right with his mic stand. The first piano notes floated into the gym. Her fingers found the keys on their own, muscle memory kicking in. The crowd quieted, a soft hush spreading as people recognized the familiar melody. She sang the first line. Her voice shook. Just a little. Second line, it steadied. By the time she reached the chorus, it wasn't just her voice out there. It was all the nights they spent practicing, all the times she had sung alone in her room with the volume low, pretending the walls could understand her better than people. Jungkook's voice slid in on the harmony, deeper, smooth. They blended, spreading across the gym like warm light. Phones went up, recording. Some girls in the front row squealed Jungkook's name quietly. He ignored them. He looked at Y/N, not the crowd, not the principal, not the coach watching from the back with his arms crossed. Just her. J/K POV. If this is the last time, I don't want to waste it being scared. On the second verse, he took the lead, lyrics about being lost and stubborn, about pushing away the people who tried to hold him. His eyes found hers on the word sorry, voice dipping a little. She felt it like a direct hit. The bridge approached, the part they'd struggled with most. The part where their voices had to intertwine without stepping on each other. They inhaled together, sang for a moment. The gym disappeared. It was just the music room, the dark, the storm outside, his hoodie over her head. It was the first time he taught her chords, her teaching him how to read sheet notes. It was kids on a staircase sharing earphones. The last note hung, delicate and perfect silence. Then the gym exploded, cheering. Whistles. A few dramatic shouts of "I love you, Jungkook." From the cheer squad row, Y/N's knees felt weak. She bowed automatically, cheeks burning. Beside her, Jungkook bowed too, a small smile tugging at his lips. It wasn't the cocky smirk he usually wore. It was gentler. Real. They turned to leave the stage, hearts still racing. That's when it happened. Author's POV. It was subtle at first, a quiet creak from above. One of the stage crew shouted something about the backdrop rope. Someone else yelled, "Watch out." Y/N barely had time to process before she saw it. A large metal frame holding part of the fairy light arrangement, swaying above them. One of the supporting hooks snapping loose. Time slowed. Her brain didn't. Y/N POV. Oh, then everything sped up at once. The frame tilted, heading straight toward her side of the stage. She froze. Her foot caught on a cable. The world blurred. Someone slammed into her from the side, hard enough to knock the air from her lungs. They tumbled to the wooden floor as the metal crashed down where she had been standing just a second before. The sound was deafening. Lights sparked, a few bulbs shattering, glass scattering. Students screamed. Teachers shouted instructions. Y/N's ears rang. For a second, all she could feel was the weight over her, and the strong arm curled around her shoulders, pressing her face against a familiar chest. J/K. Don't move. His voice was strained, pained, her heart stopped. She pushed up slightly, eyes wild. Y/N. Jungkook, he hissed, jaw clenching. That's when she saw it. One side of the metal frame had scratched down his shoulder as it fell, tearing through the thin fabric of his shirt. A bright bloom of red spread across the black, trickling down his arm. Her stomach lurched. Y/N. You're bleeding, oh my god. J/K. I'm fine. A/N. He absolutely was not fine. Teachers and stage crew rushed over, lifting the frame away, helping them up. Mr. Han's face had gone pale. Mr. Han, are you two okay? Does anything feel broken? Y/N, can you stand? She nodded shakily, letting someone steady her. Her eyes stayed locked on Jungkook. His face was a shade paler than usual, jaw tight. He held his injured arm awkwardly, blood seeping through his fingers. The coach pushed through the crowd. Coach, someone call the nurse, and the ambulance just in case. The gym buzzed with panicked energy. Jungkook's eyes flickered to Y/N. He managed a weak smile. J/K. You're not hurt, right? Y/N. I know, but you. J/K. Good. A/N. He swayed slightly on his feet. Taehyung appeared out of nowhere, grabbing Jungkook's good shoulder. T/V. Ya, idiot, sit down before you pass out. J/K. I'm not. His sentence cut off as his knees buckled. T and coach caught him, lowering him carefully to the edge of the stage. Everything after that blurred for Y/N. Sirens in the distance. The school nurse pressing gauze to Jungkook's shoulder. Teachers ushering students out to keep them from filming everything. Someone tried to lead Y/N away to check her too, but she twisted her arm out of their grip. Y/N. Pav. I'm fine. I'm totally fine. He's the one who. Her eyes burned. She moved toward him, ignoring the voices around her. He sat on a chair now, paramedics fussing with his arm, wrapping it in clean bandages. His shirt had been cut open around the wound, exposing the bruised skin and angry gash below his collarbone. It wasn't life-threatening, but it looked painful. He looked up when she approached. The crowd noise faded around them. Y/N. Why did you do that? Her voice shook, more from emotion than fear. He blinked. J/K. Because the metal thing didn't look like it wanted to be friends with your skull. Y/N. I'm serious. J/K. So am I. A/N. She glared from under trembling lashes. Y/N. You could have been seriously hurt. J/K. So could you. A/N. The simple answer slammed into her. He shifted in the chair, wincing. J/K. I already told you, didn't I? Y/N. Told me what? He exhaled, eyes flickering to Taehyung, who hovered nearby, then back to her. J/K. I care. The two words were small, but they shook her worse than the falling frame. The paramedic tapped his good shoulder. Paramedic. We should take him in to clean this properly. The cut's deep. They started pushing the chair toward the side doors. Y/N's feet moved on their own, following. Taehyung fell into step beside her. T/V. You don't have to come. It's just Y/N. I'm going. A/N. Her tone surprised even herself. Taehyung studied her profile for a second, then nodded. T/V. Okay. I'll let your mom know you're with us. They headed toward the ambulance, the festival's colorful lights flickering behind them like a world that belonged to someone else. The performance was over. The real confession hadn't even begun yet. Author's POV hospitals always smelled the same: sterile, cold, like someone trying too hard to erase all traces of pain with bleach and medicine. Y/N sat in a hard plastic chair outside the small treatment room, hands clasped so tightly her fingers ached. A clock ticked too loudly on the wall. Nurses walked back and forth, their footsteps a steady rhythm. Taehyung sat beside her, elbows resting on his knees, head tilted back against the wall. T/V. They said it's not life-threatening, just deep. He'll probably get a few stitches and then he'll milk it for attention for weeks. Y/N. It's not funny. T/V. I didn't say it was funny. I said he will make it funny. A/N. Her foot tapped unconsciously against the floor. The door opened after what felt like an eternity. A nurse stepped out, followed by Jungkook, who now had his shoulder and upper chest wrapped in neat white bandages. His shirt was gone, replaced with a loose hospital top that did absolutely nothing to hide the fact that he was, well, built Y/N Pav. Okay, calm down. This is not the time to notice his muscles. He almost died. He didn't, but still, he spotted them, mouth pulling into a small grin. J/K. They didn't kick you out yet, T/V. You look too alive, disappointed. J/K. Love you too, Hyung. A/N. T rolled his eyes, but his shoulders relaxed. The nurse gave some instructions about keeping the wound dry, changing bandages, painkillers schedule. Jungkook nodded absent-mindedly, eyes drifting toward Y/N nurse. One person can stay with him for a bit. The others should wait outside or go home. Taehyung looked between them. T/V. I'll call his mom, and Y/Ns. You two can talk. A/N. He emphasized the last word, then walked off down the corridor, hands in his pockets. The nurse nodded. Nurse. Room 214. Try not to make too much noise, okay? Author's Pav. Room 214 was small but bright. A single bed by the window, curtains half drawn. A vase with fake flowers sat on the bedside table. Looking tired, Jungkook lowered himself onto the bed with a soft groan, his injured shoulder protesting the movement. Y/N hovered awkwardly near the door. J/K. You can sit, you know, I'm not contagious. Y/N, says the guy who almost caught a metal frame with his body. J/K. 10 out of 10 would not recommend. A/N. He tried to joke, but the pain in his eyes was obvious. She moved closer, perching on the chair beside the bed. Up close, the bandages looked even whiter, stark against his tanned skin. A few stray strands of hair clung to his forehead. He looked softer like this. Less like the untouchable school heartthrob, more like the boy she used to share homework with. Silence settled between them. Thick Y/N Pav. Where do I even start? Thank you for almost dying for me. Sorry your shirt got destroyed. He broke it first. J/K. You're really not hurt anywhere. Y/N. For the 100th time, no, just scared. That's all. J/K. I've seen you trip over flat floors. I had to make sure. Y/N. Wow, I save your dignity on stage and you still drag my walking skills. He chuckled, then winced, hand automatically flying to his shoulder. Y/N. Stop laughing, it hurts you. J/K. You're funny when you're worried. Y/N. I'm not. She stopped at his look. Y/N Pav. Fine, I am. Happy now. She looked away, staring at the heart monitor for a second just to have somewhere else to put her eyes. Y/N. Why did you push me? J/K. Because you were standing under a falling metal thing. Y/N. You know what I mean. You could have run the other way. You could have let someone else. J/K. I wasn't thinking about physics, Y/N, or logic. I saw it and I moved. That's it. A/N. His tone was gentle but firm. He shifted slightly on the bed, expression turning more serious. J/K. I told you in the music room, didn't I, that I'm done pretending, that I care. I meant it. Her chest tightened. Y/N. People care without throwing themselves under stage equipment. J/K. I never do anything halfway. A/N. That was painfully true. He inhaled, then exhaled slowly, like he was about to jump off a cliff. J/K. I was filling out the transfer form last night. Her heart dropped to somewhere near her shoes. Y/N. Oh, he saw the way her shoulders sagged, the way she suddenly focused on her hands twisted together in her lap. He almost cursed. J/K. I didn't submit it. Her head snapped up. Y/N. Why? J/K. Because. He looked away, jaw working. J/K. Because I kept thinking about the duet. And the way you looked under that stupid hoodie in the dark. And how, every time I tried to imagine leaving, it wasn't the basketball court I saw or the classroom. It was the stairs between our apartments, and you on them. He laughed softly, humorless. J/K. Cheesy as hell, right? Y/N. Extremely. A/N. Her voice was barely above a whisper. He smiled anyway, J/K. I talked to Coach. He said the Busan thing is a big opportunity. Better training, better exposure. But he also said it's my decision, not his. He'll support me either way. He looked at her again, eyes searching J/K. I realized for once, I want to choose something not because it looks cool or because everyone expects it, but because it's what I want. Silence Y/N. And what do you want? A/N. The question trembled between them. He didn't hesitate, J/K. You. Her breath caught. He kept going, J/K. I want to be the idiot who waits in the hallway for you just so I can say hi in annoying ways. I want to be the one you complain to when Mr. Han gives too much homework, or when your mom makes that weird vegetable soup you hate. I want to sing dumb songs on the stairs again at 2 a.m. and listen to you rant about how everyone thinks you're just a nerd when you literally just owned the stage today. His eyes glistened slightly. Voice rough, J/K. I want another chance. To not be the guy who watched you from far away while pretending I didn't care. To actually stand next to you and be worth it. He took a shaky breath, J/K. I'm not good with words, you know that. I mess up a lot. I probably will mess up again. But I'm in love with you, Y/N, and I've been in love with you since you dropped your ice cream on my shoe in 3rd grade and cried more for the ice cream than my shoe. Her lips trembled, Y/N. Pav. Stop, I'm not supposed to cry. He's the one with the injury. Get it together. But the tears came anyway, hot and sudden, blurring her vision, Y/N. You can't just say all that in a hospital gown. It's emotionally illegal. He chuckled, wincing again, J/K. Sorry, the comedy show comes free with the stitches. She sniffed, wiping her cheeks with the back of her hand, Y/N. Do you know how hard it was watching you pretend I was just some random classmate? Do you know how many times I almost deleted your number because I was tired of staring at our empty chat? He looked guilty enough to sink into the mattress, J/K. I know I don't deserve you forgiving me so easily. You don't have to. You can kick me. Not on the shoulder, though. Anywhere else is fine. She let out a watery laugh, Y/N. I should. She stood up suddenly. His heart dropped for a second, thinking she might leave Dot instead. She stepped closer, Dot, carefully, so she wouldn't bump his injury. She leaned forward and pressed her forehead against his. Their noses brushed. His breath hitched, Y/N. But I'm kind of tired of pretending too. Her voice was soft, but every word was clear, Y/N. I'm tired of pretending it didn't hurt when you laughed with them. I'm tired of pretending I don't still remember the exact way you take your coffee because you used to steal sips of my mom's. I'm tired of pretending I don't feel safe when you're around, even when you're being the biggest jerk in the room. She pulled back just enough to look into his eyes. Hers were full of tears and stubbornness, Y/N. I'm in love with you too, Jungkook, probably since before the ice cream incident. And I hate that I still do, but I do. His world tilted in the best way, J/Kpop. Did she really? He swallowed. Words stuck somewhere in his throat where panic and joy collided, J/K. You do, Y/N. Don't make me repeat it, he grinned. Full, bright, almost boyish, J/K. Say it again, Y/N. No, J/K, please, Y/N. No, J/K, just once more for my recovery. She rolled her eyes, cheeks flushed, Y/N. You're insufferable, he pouted exaggeratedly, J/K. I literally bled for you, Y/N. Fine. She took a breath, heart racing, Y/N. I love you, Jeon Jungkook. Happy now. If hearts could detonate, his would have taken the entire hospital with it, he exhaled, eyes closing for a brief second like the words physically hit him. When he opened them again, they were soft. So soft, J/K. Can I? He glanced at her lips, then at his bandaged shoulder, J/K. Can I kiss you without my shoulder exploding? She snorted, Y/N. You're the one who's gonna explode, not the shoulder. He wiggled his eyebrows weakly, J/K. Worth it? A/N. She hesitated for a fraction of a second, then very carefully she leaned in, their noses brushed again. His breath mingled with hers, warm and minty from the hospital gum they'd given him. He tilted his head the tiniest bit, giving her space to back away if she wanted. She didn't. Their lips met. Author's pav. It wasn't a perfect movie kiss. Their noses bumped awkwardly at first. She almost giggled, and he muffled a curse against her mouth as his shoulder shifted. But then the awkwardness melted like sugar in hot tea. His lips were soft, a little chapped from the dry hospital air. He tasted faintly like spearmint and the sweet bread Taehyung had smuggled in earlier. His good hand came up slowly, fingers brushing her jaw with a care that made her chest ache. He didn't pull her harshly. He didn't try to devour her. He just held her there. Their eyes slid shut at the same time. Y/in pav. O warmth spread from her mouth to the rest of her body, curling in her stomach, making her toes curl in her shoes. Her fingers grabbed the edge of the mattress unconsciously, knuckles white. He pressed closer, deepening the kiss just a fraction, enough to make a small, surprised sound escape from the back of her throat. He swallowed it with a shaky breath, heart hammering. Kpop. I could stay like this forever. His thumb stroked her cheek gently, catching a stray tear that had stubbornly rolled down. He kissed her slower then, like he had all the time in the world, like there was no transfer form in his pocket, no stage, almost accident, just them. When they finally parted, it was because his shoulder protested with a sharp sting. He hissed softly, pulling back an inch, forehead still touching Y/n. See, I told you you'd explode. He laughed, breathless. J/K, worth it. He opened his eyes. She was close enough that he could count each tiny freckle near her nose, see the way her lashes clumped slightly from dried tears. Her lips were slightly swollen, pinker than before. He wanted to kiss her again immediately. Instead, he smiled. J/K, now it's sweet. She blinked. Y/n. What? J/K, the taste. Before I only had your singing. Now I have this. He grazed his thumb gently over her bottom lip, making her breath hitch. J/K, sweet, just like I imagined. Her face went red. Y/n. You imagined it, J/K. Every time you chewed on your straw. Every time you licked your lips between lines when we practiced. You have no idea how hard it was not to just. He stopped himself, ears turning a little pink. She raised an eyebrow. Y/n. Finish that sentence, Jeon. J/K. Nope. Doctor's orders. Can't raise my blood pressure. She rolled her eyes, but her smile was soft. The door creaked, then Taehyung poked his head in. T/V. Is it safe to enter, or am I gonna be third-wheeling a live K-drama makeout? Y/n. J/K. You already third-wheel our existence, Hyung. Taehyung stepped inside, taking in the scene. The rumpled sheets, Jungkook's flushed face, Y/n's swollen lips. His gaze flickered between them, then he let out a dramatic sigh. T/V. Took you long enough. He held up 2 juice boxes. T/V. Peace offering. Jungkook smirked. J/K. If that's grape, we're breaking up. Y/n. We're not even officially together yet. Calm down. J/K. Excuse you, I literally bled for this relationship. Taehyung nearly choked on air. T/V. Wow, the delusion is strong. He handed 1 juice box to Y/n apple and 1 to Jungkook peach. T/V. For the record, I'm happy for you too. Disgustingly happy. But if you ever hurt her again, I will hit you with my guitar. Jungkook lifted his juice in a mock toast. J/K. Fair. Y/n. Please don't. He just got patched. T/V. I'll aim for the other shoulder. A/n. They laughed, the sound filling the small room, chasing away the sterile hospital silence outside. The sky had turned a soft evening blue. The storm from days ago felt like a far memory now, replaced by something gentler. Warm. Inside room 214. In a hospital that smelled like bleach and second chances. 3 friends shared juice boxes, stupid jokes, and the first calm moment after a whirlwind. Jungkook glanced at the folded transfer form peeking from his bag. He reached over with his good hand, pulled it out without breaking eye contact with Y/n. He tore it in half, then in half again. The pieces fluttered into the trash bin beside the bed like tiny white birds. Y/n's eyes widened. Y/n. Are you sure? He nodded, no hesitation this time. J/K. I have everything I want right here. Taehyung groaned T/V. You're going to be unbearable with all this cheesiness. J/K, you love me. T/V. Unfortunately, Y/N I do. A/N. The way she said it made Jungkook's heart race faster than any game, any performance, any near-death experience. He squeezed her hand, she squeezed back. Later that night, when she finally got home, exhausted and still a little dazed, her phone buzzed. Jeon next door, since this is just the beginning. I'll let you escape with only one hospital kiss today, but next time, you'll see what else I can do. Jeon next door. BTW, you're an amazing kisser. Y/N Pav. Oh my god. She buried her face in her pillow, cheeks flaming, heart absolutely out of control. Her fingers flew over the screen anyway. Y/N, says the guy who almost fainted after 10 seconds. Y/N. See you tomorrow, idiot. She hesitated for a moment, then added, Y/N I love you. His reply came almost instantly. Jeon next door. I love you more. Jeon next door, and I'm not going anywhere.